Hello there, good evening indeed, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a fruitful and productive week. And now, this is what is coming up on Edition tonight. Fruit farmers in Kayonza and Goma districts say that the farming activities they do will help them get out of poverty because they do it professionally. Economic experts point out that the decrease in consumer price index from 3.6% last year, 2022, to 2.1% this year is a step forward in reviving the country's economy. It's my great pleasure to end off the week with you on Rwanda Television News, and now coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Sam Kalisa, and as we kick it off, fruit farmers in Kayonza and Goma districts say that the farming activities they do will help them get out of poverty because they do it professionally. They reiterated this as Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente visited fruit farming activities done on an area of 40,000 hectares. Olive Nete starts us off tonight with this report.
Chirutimana Alfred is a fruit farmer in the Remera sector in Goma district.
I harvested tomato tree plants. I planted 324 trees of tomato tree plants. I gained an income of 620,000. I used to self-manage the bank, but I currently have a cow as a result of my income, and I currently have a good life.
He is one of the 4,000 fruit farmers in Kayonza and Goma district who are in a project of fruit farming where they farm avocados, mangoes, tomato trees, and jackfruits. Nyemanzi Jean Bosco, the mayor of Kayonza district, points out that this fruit farming project is expected to improve the quality of life of farmers.
They are currently harvesting tomato tree plants, but you know that they are plants that take long to give harvest, like jackfruits, which take 7 years to provide harvest. The demand of avocados is currently increasing at the international market. This means that residents will be able to find an income that will support them in various ways, but it's not only that in this place, there is also an opportunity of attracting investors that can bring processing plants that can process this harvest.
Processing plants inganda zibasha gutunganya uyu musaruro.
According to Dr. Ildefonse Musafiri, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources, this fruit farming project is related to the conditions of districts of the Eastern Province.
N'umushinga mugari uri kubuso bugera kuri hegitari 1300 burenga.
This is a big project that is on an area of 1,300 hectares, and there is 440 trees on this area. It's a project that was planned. You can see that we have terraces in this area through various projects of the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry. We initiated a project called Rural Sector Support Project. Paved terraces on this area, but due to the conditions of this place, these terraces do not provide enough harvest. We have currently thought about another project that supports farming in Kayonza and also preserving the environment. We usually think of a way to support farmers.
The Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente urged farmers to put more efforts into fruit agriculture because there is a market for their produce, and he also urged them to fight malnutrition.
Feeding our children properly and fight against stunting. You know that when a kid has stunting, he encounters problems in growth and even gets various diseases in the course of their life. Take care of your children, and I know that they teach you about preparing a full diet. Second, those who have children in adolescent age, encourage them to avoid consuming drugs and being drunkards. And when the youth engages in such activities, it results in a failure and they can't grow and become good parents. Put more efforts in fruit farming. I want to thank you for the work you have been doing, and we shall come back to see how far with the growth of planted trees if they bear fruits. And also we shall help you in finding markets so that your harvest won't be put to waste. We will surely find markets for you. People should look good with the clean clothes, and I can see that you are clean, but keep on with the cleanliness. The last is to urge you to not remove your children from school. Children must finish their primary level and continue to the secondary level. Do not make them leave school to go farming, let them study.
mureke abana bige ku bushobozi bwabo.
This fruit agriculture project, which operates in 3 sectors in Kayonza and Goma districts, has a budget of 4 billion Rwandan francs. Currently, they are looking at how irrigation can be done using solar energy instead of using diesel-powered irrigation machines. Olive Nete, RTV News.
On Sunday, members of the parliament, the family and leaders in various institutions paid their final respect and farewell to MP Honorable Rwigamba Fidel, who passed away on February 15th, 2023. A lying-in state ceremony for late Honorable Rwigamba Fidel took place in the Rwandan parliament, where he has been serving 14 years. The message from President Paul Kagame and his family to the family of the deceased and those who worked with him was read by the minister in the president's office, Uwizeye Judith.
Ubutumwa bw'akababaro bwoherejwe na nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika Paul Kagame.
The message from His Excellency Paul Kagame and his family to the family of Honorable Fidel Rwigamba. His Excellency President Paul Kagame and his family, after learning about the bad news of the passing on of Honorable Fidel Rwigamba, they were saddened by the news and they stand in solidarity with his children and the whole family in these times of sorrow. They also stand in solidarity with the Rwandan Parliament. His Excellency President Paul Kagame and his family wish strength to his children and family in this time of sorrow. May God give Honorable Fidel Rwigamba eternal rest.
Imana ihe Honorable Deputy Rwigamba Fidel iruhuko ridashira.
Senator Bideri John Bond, who worked with late Honorable Fidel Rwigamba in the Pan-African Parliament, testified that he was a great advisor who was highly respected by the MPs from other 55 countries, part of the Pan-African Parliament. He was a great advisor in terms of work and discipline. He always reminded us that we must always represent our country well and make it proud. Due to sickness, he couldn't attend all the sessions, but his advices were useful every day. We'll always remember him for that. Immediately after he died, we sent the message to the Pan-African Parliament and we received many condolence messages. That showed us that Honorable Fidel lived well with people. All the messages described him as a hero, intelligent, and a loving person. The deceased was an MP in the Chamber of Deputies in the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Security. He leaves a great legacy, as explained by the Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies, Honorable Mukabadisa Donatil.
Twese twari tumuziho gukunda igihugu no kukirwanirira ishyaka uko byagenda kose.
We all knew him as a patriotic person. He was always a courageous person who performed his duties with great passion, and he always showed ability. He was also known for time management as a life principle, and in all the time he was here, he was never late for parliamentary duties. He was known for excellence, seeking advice, but also giving advice, and he was always courageous, welcoming, humble, and truthful. In the 10 years that he has served in the parliament and other duties, he made a great contribution in building our country. Those who lived with him abroad as refugees described him as a person who helped many of those who came to him in need of counseling and in finding a way of life, plus his contribution in the liberation of the country. He passed on at the age of 73 and spent 10 years in the Rwandan Parliament, Chamber of Deputies. He lives 4 children and 5 grandchildren. Indeed, may he rest in eternal peace. And as we move on to matters related to education, during his visit to IPRC in Goma, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente urged various institutions to facilitate students in vocational training schools to get internships.
Courses including construction, carpentry, vehicle mechanics, electricity, hospitality and tourism are some of the major courses offered at IPRC in Goma Vocational Technical College.
This engine operates in 2 different ways. To shift to another direction, it requires the software to first shut down so that it can be changed.
Prime Minister Edward Ngirente visited IPRC Ngoma Vocational and Technical College, where through exercises, the students showed on how important the knowledge they acquired from this technical college would benefit them in their future development. The Prime Minister urged various institutions to facilitate the students in these vocation training schools to find internships in various institutions, hence to improve their knowledge. The Minister of State in charge of ICT and TVET, Idede Claudette, noted that they are going to put much efforts in facilitating the students.
We have to first emerge all these institutions and ministries and also take into consideration as the Minister of Education so that these students should have way to practice. The second thing he urged is to accelerate the program of Bachelors of Technology because all IPRCs we have only offers in advanced diploma. As to that, we see the commitment of our students who want it, plus also putting much efforts in finding places where these students can find internships. Then that's what I think we are going to put much efforts into.
IPRC Ngoma has more than 1,600 students, whereas the majority of them takes construction courses. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Economic experts point out that the decrease of a consumer price index from 3.6% last year, 2022, to 2.1% this year is a step forward in reviving the country's economy. Adam Squizera continues.
2 years ago, Rwanda and the world faced the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic as well as the Russia-Ukraine crisis, which led to a slight increase in prices of the domestic market. The National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda indicated a comparison between the 2022 and 2023 Consumer Price Index, which mainly indicates the increase of 2.1% on monthly basis, where this increase was mainly due to the Fresh Products Index increased by 3.6%. This is where Stratton Habyarimana and Teddy Kaberuka, the economic analyst, shows this decrease of the Consumer Price Index of 2023 as a sustainable step to the economic recovery.
That it's better than what we had last month, so it shows that there is some slight improvement, and sometimes actually when the prices started to stabilize, not increasing very much, the trend is not the increase is not very very big. The next stage is to expect that at least the prices can plateau, and after a few months or a few weeks, we can just observe a tendency downwards.
Let me say it's the picture of how the price on the market has increased in the last year. It's obvious by looking at the number, the statistics, price raised a lot. 20%. It's a very big price increase. Especially comparing with the level of income, how much people are making to afford the price on the market.
The Rural Consumer Price Index indicates the increase of 38.8% of annual basis, while the Urban Consumer Price Index increased by 20.7% in January 2023 compared to the same month of 2022. Economic analysts points out the main reason for the extraordinary rise in rural prices.
Rural areas, they rely basically on their own production, while in Kigali or in urban areas, they rely on local production but also imported food items.
It's known that the supply of goods and services in rural area come from the urban sector. So if urban is supplying to rural, then you understand that price increase in the rural area. For three reasons. One, the production of different zones. Zone has specialized in agriculture commodities, meaning if you're in the east, you only have what is grown there. Anything else needs to be imported from other regions, which means you are getting price from those regions plus the transport costs. So that can explain the increase of the price.
While presenting the 2022-2023 mid-term budget revision to the Parliament, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Uzie Ndagishimana, assured the decrease of the market price.
bigaragaza ko ibiciro bitangiye kugabanuka ku masoko.
However, the signs that prices are starting to decrease in our markets started to appear since the end of 2022, where the products of some goods, such as rice, beans, tomatoes, cooking oil, started to decrease. We hope that this season of 2023A will also contribute much in the decrease of market price. However, the Rwanda CPI increased by 31.1% on the annual basis. As to that, some of the factors that led to the increase in prices last month of January were food and non-alcoholic beverages, which increased by 57.3%, while housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels prices increased by 12%. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Rwandans living in the diaspora have been urged to make efforts to use Kinyarwanda in their families and train their children to use the language because it contains cultural values and is the foundation of unity. This was reiterated during discussions that brought together representatives of the Rwandan diaspora and the Rwanda Cultural Heritage Academy.
Some Rwandans living abroad show concern for Kinyarwanda and set various programs to teach and promote the language of Kinyarwanda and the Rwandan culture in general.
We teach Kinyarwanda, the Rwandan culture, and various things such as traditional dances, telling stories, and others.
Our goal in that project is to first help those who grew up in other countries to be able to speak Kinyarwanda when they will be in Rwanda. We want to teach children to speak their names in the right way, such as truly knowing how to spell their names. If the child keeps using the language, they will know it and love it. However, they indicate that they need assistance, including access to adequate teaching materials, training for teachers, and more. In order to help those who have such plans, the Rwanda Cultural Heritage Academy has prioritized increasing the use of technology in Kinyarwanda language and also including tutorials on the internet. Ambassador Robert Masozera, the Director General of the Rwanda Cultural Heritage Academy, urges parents who live in the diaspora not to forget to promote the use of Kinyarwanda language in their families.
They have to carry out discussions in Kinyarwanda where they are at home and in other various places where they meet. They can also establish associations and also schools, clubs that can help them to learn Kinyarwanda. We in Rwanda, through the Rwanda Cultural Heritage Academy, it shall be smooth and it is easier to help people who are associated in various groups instead of helping someone individually.
Marie Chantal Gwakazina, the ambassador of Rwanda in Switzerland, urges Rwandans living in diaspora to value Kinyarwanda and to value themselves as Rwandans. To value the Rwandan culture is considered valuing yourself as a Rwandan. To promote the Kinyarwanda language and training the culture of Rwandans abroad is to build Rwanda, and it is also encouraging foreigners to come to the source, which is our country, Rwanda. These discussions that brought together representatives of the Rwandan diaspora and the Rwanda Cultural Heritage Academy are part of the activities that are currently being done to celebrate the International Mother Language Day, which is usually celebrated every 21st of February. Olive Nete, RTV News.
We'll keep it to the diaspora. Rwandan students at the University of Nebraska in the United States of America celebrated the National Heroes Day, and this was an event which was merged with their annual celebration of an event named Rwanda Night. Adam Squizera.
This was an event which took place on Saturday at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln in the state of Nebraska. It was attended by leaders of this university, Dr. Ronnie D. Green, the General for the State of Nebraska, Major General Darrell Bohak, and others. Lieutenant Colonel Laul Bazatoha, who represented the Rwandan ambassador to America, Mathilde Mukanabana, appreciated the students for organizing this event and matching it with the National Heroes Day. Tiffany Hang Moss, Dean of the College of Agriculture, Sciences and Natural Resources, noted that this event made people of Nebraska aware of Rwanda and its history.
Rwandan students that have joined us, they have been very curious They've been very passionate about their fields. They really like to think from a systems perspective. When we think about them on their academic side of things, they excel in the classroom. In fact, to date, they've had a 94% graduation rate in 4 years or less, which is really unheard of when you look at student success across the United States.
Dean Tiffany also reiterated on how this event brought together people of Nebraska and Rwandans as well.
So Rwanda Night was absolutely amazing, as the past several years have been. It's just a great opportunity to bring together our UNL, Nebraska community and beyond to celebrate the people of Rwanda, to appreciate the culture and the tradition.
Claire Mutoni, one of the Rwandan students at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, noted that the activities in US indicates the status of Rwanda's leadership.
Rwanda Nights yafashije abantu bo muri iki gihugu kumenya u Rwanda kurushaho.
Rwanda Night facilitated many people in this country to know Rwanda. People know information most of the times because they read it from news or from what they hear from us young people who knows very well the history of Rwanda. Literally, this helps these Americans to know where Rwanda came from and where it is heading to. So seeing us organizing this event in the last 4 years shows them the passion we have for our country. Most of the times, they ask us questions such as how can we teach them what we learned from our country.
This event was also an opportunity to promote Rwanda's kitchen and traditional dance. All this aimed to share Rwandan culture with the people of Nebraska. Adam Skuzera, RTV News.
On behalf of the entire news and technical as well as the production team that made it happen, thank you for being with us on this edition of Rwanda Television News. Up until next time, stay safe and have a fruitful week ahead. Goodbye.